I'll never forget the first time I looked in the mirror and I didn't recognize my own face. Has that ever happened to you? Has Parkinson's ever made you feel like a stranger to yourself or blindsided you with a new symptom that you never saw coming? If you've ever felt your identity slipping away, well, you're not alone. Stay with me because today I'm going to share the real truth about living with Parkinson's for the long haul. The stuff that nobody tells you when you're diagnosed and the stories that you don't get in the brochure. And trust me, there's some shocks nobody warns you about.
They told him he had 5 good years left. That was 15 years ago. He's still standing, still speaking, still living. This is Living with Parkinson's, the good, the bad, and the reality. A podcast about what happens when life throws you something incurable and you fight back anyway. Hosted by Bryce Perry. Diagnosed at 40, 15 years into the battle. This is the truth behind the tremor. Let's begin.
Hey, I'm Bryce, and welcome to Living with Parkinson's, the good, the bad, and the reality. And if you're new here, I'm so glad you found us. On this channel, it's not about sugarcoating. It's about surviving and thriving with a little bit of humor and a lot of heart. And if you want real stories, not just the highlights, hit subscribe and share the moment that Parkinson's most surprised you, or maybe even the craziest thing it's ever thrown your way. You know, when I was first diagnosed about 15 years ago, I had this timeline in my head, right? I pictured a slow, steady slope, a gentle decline that I could prepare for. You know, by year 5, I'll be here, and by year 10, I'll be there, and so on. And well, the first shock, Parkinson's is less like a slope and more like a roller coaster operated by like a deprived clown. And just when you think you got a handle on it, like boom, new symptoms, new challenges, new rules. I remember about 3 years after my diagnosis, I'd gone from like going for like long walks to barely making it down the block, right? And I thought to myself, okay, I guess this is my new normal, right? And then out of nowhere, I signed up for a super walk in Canada here, and I went walking, and it wasn't graceful. My left leg dragged. I sweated buckets, and I probably looked like I was auditioning for the world's slowest relay team. But I finished. I crossed the finish line, and it reminded me I still have this fight. I'm still in the fight. So when things suddenly change, you need to try to let go of the forever thinking, right? Remind yourself, this is my right now, not my forever, right? This is my right now, not my forever. Parkinson's can take, but sometimes it gives you back more grit than you thought you had. It really does. So let's get real for a second. Everyone with Parkinson's worries about the future, right? How fast will things progress? What will it mean for your independence? What is it going to mean for your family? What is it going to mean for your dignity? If you've ever had those late night Google sessions, and to be honest, I have, or the 3 a.m. Dr. Google anxiety spirals, then you're not alone here. When Carter and I got married, I wondered if she truly knew what she was signing up for. Some days, honestly, I worry about her more about her than I do myself. But she's taught me that love and humor don't just survive, they thrive, even on the hardest days. Like the time I froze in the middle of our kitchen dance party, right? Music's playing, me stuck like a statue, and she just wrapped her arms around me and she just turned it into a slow dance. I was frustrated, but I was also grateful. And you'd be surprised what and who holds you up when things get tough. So if you're in a relationship, it's best to talk about your fears openly. Don't forget to laugh, and don't forget to laugh together. And when things get heavy, steal a dance in the kitchen, even if you're only swaying. Trust me, it goes a long way and will make you feel better in the end. And here's a Bryce-ism for today. With Parkinson's, the future is a wild card, but so is your capacity to adapt and to find new joys, even when the old ones slip away. Let me ask you this. What's the most shocking or unexpected part of your Parkinson's journey? And if you're willing, share it in the comments, because someone out there is facing it right now for the first time. And your story could be the lifeline that they need. And if you want more support, more real talk, more community, hit subscribe and join our little family here. It's amazing. People here are amazing. The comments are amazing. I love this community. So here's another thing. My symptoms haven't gotten worse, right? They've gotten creative. 1 year was tremoring, then it was freezing, now it's coming the facial masking. And the day that I saw this group photo and I realized my smile was gone, that hit me like a ton of bricks, right? I didn't just lose an expression. I lost a piece of how I connected with the world. And it took me a while, a long while. But those moments are forcing me to reach out to others who get it, like you. And I've learned it's okay to grieve and it's okay to ask for help and it's okay to miss the old you. It really is. Someone wrote me one time. Someone wrote me, from the channel, and they said I used to hide my symptoms, but when I finally talked about them, my family became my biggest cheerleaders. If you ever found support in an unexpected place, you'll find it, but you won't find it unless you talk about it. Okay? You won't. Here's a tip. Document changes, right? Not just for you, document your changes, not just for your doctor, but for yourself. I talk a lot about this, and you're probably getting sick and tired of me saying this, but you have to start journaling. You have to write things down. And if you don't like writing, then speak them into your notes app on your phone, or turn anything on and just record yourself. But I always tell you to keep notes and these like journals for your doctor, right? Any changes, like document them, right? Here is a change today. And then what led to that change, what led up, how did you sleep, what you ate, right? So how did you take your meds? How did you take your meds today? How did you sleep? What did you eat? Right? Little notes, and then what happened, right? But I always tell you to keep that for your doctor. But I want you to also think about it for yourself. Keeping a journal, right, or these few notes on your phone, that's what helps you spot patterns, right? And it's a reminder that every phase is temporary. See, there's the other thing too. If you write them down and spot the changes, there's things to look back and say, oh, look at that. Look at what was happening that week, but it's not happening anymore this week. So then you can start looking at things as a right now thing rather than a rest of my life thing. Okay. And let yourself feel everything. Let me say that again. Let yourself feel everything. Long-term Parkinson's isn't just physical. It's mental and it's emotional. It's a marathon and it's not a sprint. And there are days that I feel angry, absolutely. And there's days I feel proud. And there's days I've completely broken down in the car after a rough doctor's appointment. One day I had a tough appointment, right? Where nothing seemed to go right. And I sat in my parked car and I just let the tears come. And I remember the stranger was walking by and knocked on my window and handed me a tissue. Didn't say a word, just gave me a look that kind of like said, like, hey, I see you. And sometimes it's that smallest kindness that just pulls you back to hope. And it did something to me in that moment. I don't know, I can't describe it, but it was just, I felt different. And I was like, oh, you know what? And anyway, that person knows who they were. I didn't know them. It was just random, but it was incredible. It was incredible. So let yourself feel. And like remember I said, let yourself feel everything. Anger, grief, joy, relief, right? And if you need to cry, cry. And if you need to laugh at yourself, do it. Your emotions aren't wrong. They're just real. Over the years, like, I don't know, just people have helped, right? Helped me adapt and find meaning in places that I didn't expect it. This community, this channel, this podcast is helping me, you know, I just never expected any of this, right? But it's helping me find meaning, and it's crazy. And I've gotten advice, I've gotten laughter, and honestly, a sense of family that I wouldn't trade for anything. And so it's amazing. How about this? What's the best piece of advice that or support that you've received? Let's fill up the comments with wisdom and encouragement for each other. That would be awesome, right? And if you haven't yet and you don't have community, there's community here, but you can also join a support group, right? There's local support groups in your area, wherever you are around the world. I promise you there's probably a support group there that you can join either virtually or in person. And if there's not one in your area or not one that you're comfortable with or not, check out my inner circle. It's like a giant support group. So, well, it's not giant, but it's like my support group, and you're welcome to be part of it. And you can see the link in the description below if you'd want. But it's really important to have community. Really, really important to have community. And I'll say that over and over again. Okay. Anyway, if you found some value today, subscribe for more honest talk and hope, and check out that inner circle, right? It's deep community, it's live chats, it's bonus content. And Thank you for letting me be part of your journey, no matter where you're at. And thank you for being part of mine. Do you realize that? I'm letting you into my life and you're letting me into yours. And we're doing this together. So stay strong, stay honest, and keep doing life one day, one surprise, and one story at a time. And here, I'm going to leave you with this. With Parkinson's, your identity might change, but your value never does. And remember, if you're getting symptoms, start creative. Just tell them, nice try, Parkinson's. I'm still running the show. There was some bonus stuff just for sticking around to the end. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.